Previously on the Simon and Ross podcast.
And you want to be a nice lean kangaroo.
Nice lean kangaroo, yeah.
I think kangaroos can travel at like 40 mile an hour, can't they? Full hop.
I don't know.
Like, what's the top speed? I want to... Top.
Welcome to Kangaroo Facts with Simon Ross.
Don't leave yourself out of that, Lloyd.
I'm just a visitor to this.
So at 70 kilometers an hour so what's that in?
I mean, that's quick enough. Can you imagine Roger hurtling towards you like that?
Yeah, that's 43 miles an hour.
I was just about to say he could make it from my house to Leeds in an hour.
Yeah, just absolutely bombing. I've seen one of the Attenborough episodes, and there was like a pack of wolves or something was chasing down a kangaroo, and it fucking didn't stand there. Bang! It was gone. This muscly, sexy fucker just hopping like fuck at 45 miles an hour through the desert, and these wolves were just like, what? Like, I don't think they realised what they were dealing with. It was like they were like, we'll get him. He's whatever it is, it's on its own. And they get close, and this big, juicy Schwarzenegger kangaroo fuckhead emerges out of the grass. Yeah! And then just fucking hops off at 45 miles an hour. Lads were not getting it.
Yeah, Ross fully erect by this point.
We're going to your top five?
I think it is about time.
Okay.
Lloyd's number 5.
Okay.
Coming in at number 5, it is Django Unchained.
Oh, are you just going to tell us? All right. So...
Oh, did you want clues? Fuck's sake.
We didn't just want clues for the rejects.
Ah.
There's
your clue, boys. There's your clue.
Suspense gone.
I was like, I wonder what the film could be if the clue is Django Unchained.
Fuck.
He really is playing this unconventional. I like it. Left field.
Playing fast and loose with our
He's using
rules.
other names filmed as a clue to this film. It's a bit mental. So, clues? We could just pretend.
Oh, God.
It's the way we went like that as well. Django and shit.
Oh dear.
Okay, well,
we'll have this podcast done in 10 minutes if we carry on like that.
Shit, I'm gonna have to think of more clues now.
Django Unchained. Okay, yeah, that's a good. Is it your favourite Tarantino film then? It's a bit of a trick question, this, because if it isn't, then that must mean that another one of them is a Tarantino film.
You know what? I did have a think about this when I put it in the list. I was like, because there isn't another Tarantino film in the top 5. I was like, is this really my favourite Tarantino film? And yes, I think it is.
Okay.
Just for the film that I could sit down and watch the most. It has everything.
Yeah.
I mean, Pulp Fiction is probably a close second. But I don't know. I think I've probably watched Pulp Fiction that many times.
Yeah.
It's specialness as what is that a word?
We'll go with
it
that
is now.
word. It is
now. Has maybe worn off a little bit, and possibly the same will happen to Django Unchained in time, and I'll start watching Pulp Fiction again, and it'll be like, oh my God, why did I ever leave this film on the shelf? But yeah, as of now, Django Unchained.
So we've all got different favourite Tarantino films then.
Yeah.
Because I think if yours is Django, Simon, don't tell me, is yours...
Shall I give you some clues? Django Unchained!
Yours is thingy, isn't it? My mind's just going completely blank. The The fuck's sake, what's it fucking called? Fuck's sake.
Samuel L. Jackson's in it.
The one with the amazing funk soundtrack, soul soundtrack.
Yeah.
What's it called, man?
Can I let you on a little secret?
It's a name. It's a name, isn't it? It's a name. Jackie Brown.
Yeah.
I'll let you in on the seat. I've never actually seen Jackie Brown.
What? You put Empire Strikes Back in your rejects and you've never seen Jackie Brown. I was so looking forward to you coming on this show.
What a controversial character I am.
Jackie Brown's brilliant.
Jackie Brown is fantastic. It's one of them. Because it followed Pulp Fiction. I think a lot of people were a bit disappointed with it, and maybe that's one of the reasons why you've not got around to watching it as well. And I think it was a bit overlooked.
I think it's just I've not really heard all that much about it.
No,
and it kind of is one of them films that's been on my list for a long time, but.
Move it up.
You know
your
what?
list.
It's going to get watched very, very soon now because of this. So thank you, Simon. You can rest easy tonight.
The soundtrack is awesome. It's one of the few of his soundtracks that I didn't own, and it's one of the last ones that got reissued. And it's just a good compilation of music anyway. And it just happens to be the best Quentin Tarantino film, in my opinion. Although I will say, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is moving up.
Really?
Yeah.
You fucking like it when you.
No, I hated it. I was so angry that I went to the cinema to see it. I thought it was dull.
So what's changed?
Yeah.
I know more about the history now, which helps. And I think I watched.
You watched a couple of Charles Manson docs?
Exactly, yeah. And I'm still reading. I'm reading the novel, the novelization of it as well.
All right.
Which is it's very sort of loosely based on the film. So you're right, Ross.
Yeah, can you continue? Don't pay me no mind.
It's just distracting talking to your forehead only.
I'm just sitting myself down.
Which expands an awful lot, because I think the one issue with Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is, I think dialogue wise, it's probably the Tarantino film with the least amount of dialogue in, and there's a lot of silence and there's a lot of just driving round, but the book gives a lot more backstory to it all, which has helped. So I watched it again last week, and I didn't want it to end when I watched it last week. So I definitely changed my mind about it. I don't think it'll be in my top 3, but it's definitely moving up.
I think if I watched it again, I'd leave the ending out, because even though it was fun, I kind of like it.
I haven't seen it yet.
I watched it and I was just like, there it is. It's the Tarantino film. he done did it again. It was a little bit disappointing like that, yeah. But I've been meaning to read the book as well, because I've heard good things.
Yeah, no, it is good. Ross, I think your favorite Tarantino film, Hateful Eight?
No.
Pulp Fiction?
I think that's Frank's Hateful Eight. Francesco's was always hate. He loved Hateful Eight.
Yeah,
I thought Hateful Eight was brilliant.
Yeah.
No, not Pulp Fiction. No.
Ooh, Reservoir
Dogs.
That was for the longest time. Was my favorite, but
it's got to be one of the Kill Bills then, possibly part 2.
No,
part 1.
No.
All right, so it's not then.
No, I didn't say it was.
Oh, you're not being like a proper dickhead about it and saying like Death Proof or something, are you?
No.
So Inglourious Bastards.
Correct.
Yeah.
A good one.
Yeah.
That probably for the longest time, Reservoir Dogs was my favorite film. Just period. Not even just my favorite Tarantino film. It was like one of my favorite film.
Yeah.
And then I didn't see Pulp Fiction for a long time. Like Reservoir Dogs was the first film I saw. The first Tarantino film I saw, without understanding what it meant to be a Tarantino film or to really get the brand of what I was watching.
Yeah.
I just loved it and thought like, fuck me, you know, this is like, if someone just puts a film on and you know nothing about Quentin Tarantino, it's going to be quite a special thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
And that's what it was for me. It was like, no film is like this. This is one of the coolest films I've ever seen because his characters are hyper unrealistic, but also hyper cool.
Yeah.
Everything that Tarantino is not. So it's like a reflection of everything Tarantino wants to be, isn't it?
Yeah.
I find all of his characters.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Reservoir Dogs, but Inglourious Bastards, I think, is just play by play, scene by scene is just as some. It's one of those films where, because Reservoir Dogs is all set in one place, because Inglourious Bastards is just such a broad span of locations.
Yeah.
Each scene, I'm like, oh, get in, it's this scene. And then the next one, oh, get in, it's this fucking scene.
Yeah.
And each one of them is epic for its own thing. You know, you could literally carve each one of those out and just sit and watch.
Yeah.
Them all individually.
And it's weird as well because you do forget what the next scene is going to be, and there's, especially that one, there is whole like half an hour bits that you completely forget are even in it.
Yeah.
When they go down into that bar, it's just like, oh, I forgot this bit was in it.
That's one of my favorite scenes.
Yeah. And you're just waiting for him to put his fingers up like that. And you think, no, don't do it. Don't do it.
Yeah.
Everyone knows now to do that, not that.
Yeah.
So yeah, Django Unchained, number 5.
Number 5, Django Unchained, yes.
So, for your number 4, let's start with some clues.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. So, I think the
Starship
biggest
Troopers.
The biggest clue for this film is that the title was... no, I'm not going to do it. So, I'm going to make something of a bold claim, and it's one of the most iconic comedy films of all time. I'll stick my neck on the line and say that. It's not part of a series, but it kind of is. In the story-wise, it's not a series, but it's a returning cast.
So it's a full cast of funnies and not just one individual who's known for doing comedies.
A full cast.
Okay.
I think I've got it. I think so. Early 82, 83?
Not the one you're thinking.
Ah, right. Okay.
The other one.
I'm a step behind you then. Si, can you let me in? No.
Sort of spoof documentary.
Ooh, there is a very small part of it that is.
And it was released pre-80s?
Yes, pre-Spice World.
Okay.
It was released pre-80s, so...
Yes.
70s.
Yeah, I'm fairly sure it was.
I'm glad we can all understand what pre-80s means.
I'm talking about 1880. I might not have it then. I might not have it.
Well, what did you think it was?
I thought it's Spinal Tap.
Oh, no,
because all of those films have basically the same cast, don't they? Every single time.
Yeah.
Or is this? What's that film called? I don't know much about it. I don't think I've seen it, but it might be what you're talking about. My mind is just not taking over. The Commitments.
No.
Is it music based?
There is some music in it. There is a song and dance scene.
Stent's making its way through his urethra again.
British people.
80%.
Yeah. Set in. Where's it set? Produced by George Harrison.
Oh, was this one? I don't think this one was.
Oh, right. Okay. Filmed in Wales.
Probably.
Right. Okay. And shall I just go, Ross?
What? You're leaving?
Oh, see ya.
He's had enough.
The stent's hanging out. I need to do something with it.
I see a man about a kangaroo.
So 80% English or British people, and one American.
One American.
Yeah. Oh, one of them was Welsh as well. So,
yeah, well, I think Wales was in Britain at the time.
Yeah. And it was their second film.
Yes, I think maybe.
Yeah, it was.
Was it? Oh, right.
Yeah. It's about a legend.
It is about a legend.
Yeah.
Are you doing this for my benefit now?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. There was.
Is it a legend? Is it a legend?
The legend.
From the Beatles?
No.
Is the legend a sports legend?
No, it's like a legendary story, like a tale.
Yeah.
Oh right. Okay. All right. I don't know. I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced. I'm familiar with this. Have I seen it?
I think
I'd hope so.
Maybe there's a chance that you haven't actually. You probably would have seen at least one of their films.
So what is it made by? A couple of people?
Made by 5 people.
Made by 5 people. Nothing is made by 5 people.
It is.
Other than the song "If You're Getting Down."
I think they paved the way for the Spice Girls in a lot of ways.
Who 5 are the people who made this film?
Bugger. We've moved on from the Spice Girls. Sorry.
Neil Innes is in it. If you've heard of Neil Innes, no, just me.
Go on. You have to tell me what. You have to tell me what it is.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Oh, for fuck's sake!
Correctamundo, Simon.
Oh, that's embarrassing.
Nothing's made by 5 people.
Oh, I fucking love Monty Python as well. Oh, that is upsetting. That
have you seen it though?
Me?
Yeah.
I seen all Python.
Oh right, that's good.
Fuck's sake!
Yeah.
I can't believe I didn't click and think Monty Python. You're absolutely right. One of the most iconic comedy films of all time.
Yeah, definitely.
Completely agree with everything you said.
I love Life of Brian, and Life of Brian's fantastic, but I don't know, there's just something about Holy Grail that just really
I love
does it
the
for
meaning
me.
of life as well.
Yeah.
The Meaning of Life is another really good one.
But fuck's sake, I'm not going to sleep now. And I don't deserve to.
That's
you could have named
one week not sleeping for Ross. Thank you.
You could have named I would have. Fuck it. That's annoyed me.
Yeah, glad to have contributed to that bank of haunting memories. That 30 years down the line, you're going to be replaying as you're trying to get to sleep.
We've never had one Python film from any guest. And I fucking love the Python films.
Yeah.
Right.
I just thought the one time it actually comes up and I didn't fucking get it.
It's the first film was and now something completely different.
Yeah.
Oh, of course it was.
Which was like it was basically redos of the sketches from the TV show.
Yeah.
For an American audience, even though they got the series as well. But yeah,
I did not know that.
Yeah, but I had a tape with the Holy Grail and Naked Gun on the same tape. So
what a tape!
I know.
What a tape!
I wish I still had it.
Tape.
I wish I still had it. Yeah, it'd be worth getting.
Was it one of them ones where it was like a long play and you flipped it over to get the other film?
I think it was on long play. Yeah. Well, it was before. One of my friends at school had Sky before anyone did. So I'd go through like the Radio Times or whatever and see what was on Sky that week, and I'd give him a tape and he'd record it for me. And like I say,
I forgot you could still record Sky. And it wasn't always Sky Plus. Our Sky Plus box is just chocker of Sky Arts things that only I will watch. Like Battery will never watch it. I've literally got the story of everyone. I've got Patrick Swayze, Peter Gabriel. I've got Peter Gabriel, Peter Gabriel, Jethro Tull, everyone.
That's it.
Bruce.
He's
Lee.
Named everyone.
Bruce Lee. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's everyone. Everyone that matters anyway.
True.
Swayze, Tull, Gabriel,
everyone. You should have one of them T-shirts, where it's got Swayze and Tull and.
Yeah. I did have a T-shirt that was like that, but it was a Todd Rundgren T-shirt. If you're familiar with Todd Rundgren,
yeah.
And it was like a cello at plus bass plus guitar equals, and then there's a picture of Todd Rundgren's face.
I'm glad you explained that, because I was expecting it just to say Rundgren. It doesn't really work when it's just him.
T plus O plus.
I used to love one of his albums, and I can't remember what it was called. It would have been released early 90s.
Right. All this good stuff was before then.
All right.
Yeah, fuck you, Simon.
I used to have that album too, but I traded it in for a kangaroo blowy.
I'd say that's a fair deal, to be honest.
Yeah. Todd Rundgren 90s shite. What's
that? No World Order.
Okay.
No World Order. It was good because it was released on Phillips CDI. If you ever heard of those, it was like an early version of DVDs, basically.
Nice.
Yeah, weren't they horrendously expensive?
Oh yeah. I didn't have one. Stuart had it, So it was it was. I think it was one of the first ones released like that, but it was it was good. I liked it.
I met Todd Rundgren, and it was the strangest way of meeting someone that you're a fan of that you'll have ever heard in your life. Right. It's like weirdly direct and simple, and you think, well, if only this worked for people that you actually genuinely really would like to meet. Because I was always quite a fan of Todd. Never proper I would never go, tell everyone you're a Todd Rundgren fan. You listen to Todd Rundgren, fucking check out this album, especially not that 90s bollocks. But he's just not one of those guys that I was super passionate about. I was just a fan, I just listened to him whenever. But it was when I went back to the States to visit for a month, and I landed. Went onto campus in Keene State where I studied, and in chalk on the floor it just said Todd Rundgren and then an arrow pointing. So I followed this arrow, and it took me to the Redfern Arts Centre, and then then it said it again on the floor in chalk, Todd Rundgren, and an arrow pointing inside the Arts Centre. So I went in. And sure enough, there was Todd Rundgren
just in the middle of the room.
And he was playing the following night. He was playing there the following night, and they were selling tickets, but he was just by coincidence. He wasn't just stood over a sign of himself. It was like just by coincidence that he happened to be in the building, and they just finished sound checking and the rest of it for the following night's performance. So I just walked in and I was like, looked at the floor, looked up, I was like, well, there you have it. There he is. Can't say fairer than that. I mean, that's the best directions I've ever followed.
But also, if it was written in chalk on the floor, how long was that there for?
What, prior?
No, after. Was it there for several days after?
No, I think they scrubbed it.
Oh, right. I was going to say, if luck would have it that you landed 3 days later and you're following these arrows for Todd Rundgren, and he wasn't there, that'd be even weirder,
right.
wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I was... yeah.
That'd be worse story to tell. I followed some signs for Todd Rundgren.
I just followed it, and he wasn't there.
And he wasn't
3 days
there.
too late.
Yeah. Oh, he was here. Well, you should have carried on following the arrows to wherever he is now.
Well, they booked Todd Brown in the following week, so they only had to get rid of the. That's what they do to save on chalk. You see, all. I mean, the season of the Bobs was absolutely amazing. They just kept. It was an absolute treat to wake up in the morning. Get in, it's Marley tonight. It's Dylan. It's Dylan tomorrow.
Monkhouse.
Yeah. Shit, what's that? Monkhouse. I must admit, the whole time I was trying to think of this way of like articulating this joke. I was trying so hard to think of a famous Todd, and I fucking couldn't. And I googled it, and I still didn't recognise any of them except Todd Browning. I thought that's not the impact Todd that I was looking for. I was like, do you think anybody will know Todd Brown? No, he was an American Catholic bishop in 1936. I doubt it.
Hey, I heard he does a wicked set on the banjo.
Yeah.
Thomas Anderson, Australian former rugby player. No, none of these. But then underneath it, there is, who is the most famous Todd? And I clicked it and it said, Todd Rundgren is the most famous person named Todd. So it was an absolute non-starter, really. But
I've got the Impact Todd as an episode title, so I'm fine with the rest of it.
But yeah, I met him. I met him, and then I went to see him the following night, and then I thought, fuck me, it was an awesome show. It was such a good show, and then I bought that plus and equals t-shirt.
Yeah.
Which I wore at one of the Jessup's conferences, if you remember.
I have seen that t-shirt.
Yeah. Because Matt Woodin sort of pissed at me because that literally was my smart casual shirt, was a Todd Rundgren t-shirt, because it was the only one that wasn't faded or.
It's keeping that for best.
that was my nice t-shirt. That was my nice shirt. That.
Oh dear. I don't think we've actually talked about Monty Python much at all there.
No, I mean, I think we touched on the key points that it's obviously
your favourite Python, not limited to Life of Brian, but do you have a favourite Python skit?
Oh, I think out of the films, it's probably the biggest dickest scene.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
In Life of Brian, because I still giggle at that, and I must have seen it 300 times. And he has a wife, you know. I still giggle every single time. Incontinentia. Incontinentia buttocks. Right, throw him in the cells. And then when Biggest Dickers turns up as well. Oh, fuck, you know. I in the series, I always liked The guy that's making the knockoff translation books.
Oh, got the Hungarian one.
Yeah, that's it. It was.
Oh, my nipples explode with delight.
Do you want? Do you want to fondle my buttocks?
My hovercraft is
It's
full of
eels.
eels.
I always like the sex education class.
Oh god, that was good.
Causing the penis to ha. Going, did we cover vaginal juices? Yes, it goes, okay, if we did cover vaginal juices, tell me how one might stimulate vaginal juices. Caressing the buttocks, sir. Yes, I could use that's one, yes. Fondling the breast, sir. Yes. James. He's like, what's he saying?
Is it rubbing the clitoris?
Rubbing the clitoris.
Rubbing the clitoris. What's wrong with the kiss?
Don't go jumping to the clitoris like a bull through a gate. What's wrong with a kiss, boy?
I also love the Michael Palin's just staring out the window. He's not interested in any of it.
Pigs.
Yeah.
Just shagging his wife in front of
We'll take 4 players red, shall we, darling? Oh, yes.
As you can see, I am now fully erect.
It's so creepy. It's just. Does it not make you cringe when you're watching that? It's just it does. His wife is Magenta from the Rocky Horror Show as well.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Excellent tidbit.
No, you don't see those.
Jesus.
So what's your favorite Monty Python sketch, Lloyd?
God, from the TV series, it might have to be. Oh God, how do I choose?
Think of your favorite one. And then say it.
How can you have a favorite one? Should I give you a clue? It's
Jungle
the Spanish Inquisition.
Oh yeah.
No, yeah, it's. I think probably if I had to pick one, it'd be the Spanish Inquisition.
Yeah. It's that. I think for a year we quoted that at school.
Yeah.
I just.
No one expects the Spanish Inquisition.
Not the comfy chair.
Cardinal, fetch the soft cushions. Yeah, from the films, God, The Killer Rabbit. Just because of how fucking stupid it is. I think that's why Holy Grail is my favorite Monty Python film, just because of how utterly daft it is. It's just every scene is perfect.
Obviously, I mentioned before that my friend recorded it off the TV. I thought it had stopped before the end, because it literally cuts, doesn't it?
Yes,
and that's it. Yeah. I thought it stopped recording, so I for years I thought I was missing a bit at the end of the film. And then realized I wasn't. That's how the film ends.
There's a PC game, a Monty Python PC game.
Yeah.
No, is there?
And it was just like a point and click around a screen. Yeah. Then this weird shit would happen.
That was the very first game I ever completed ever.
Can you complete it?
Yeah, you can.
Amazing.
It took weeks and weeks, and literally all you're doing in the game is clicking things.
Yeah.
Every scene comes up and you click on things. I remember the bit where you click on Eric Idle when is the guy that's collecting all the dead. Every time you clicked on him, he said something different. It was like, "Bring out your dead. Be nice to Fred." And he just every single time it changed. And you had to do it something like 500 times until the scene changed and you went on to the next bit.
Jesus.
Yeah.
It's so hard, but great.
Yeah, it's a Python fan's dream. You just click around and listen to all the Python shit.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to see if it's on Steam later on. Get it downloaded.
You'll miss the next 3 weeks, but it's worth every single bit of it.
I'd happily do that.
Can't come in today and play the game. Yeah, good choice. Good choice.
Monty Python and the Quest for the Holy Grail.
Yeah, that's it.
Released in 1996.
Yeah.
By 7th level.
And that's when I got my first computer. It was the first game I had from a computer. It was awesome.
It sounds fucking fantastic.
It probably isn't. It's probably awful, but at the time it was great. And I Holy Grail, I forget how funny it is until I watch it. I think everyone knows that Life of Brian is amazing, but you forget how good the Holy Grail is.
Yeah.
And like I said, I really the meaning of life is the one that people don't think is as good.
I really like the meaning of life.
It's so good. The songs in that are just worth it alone. And the production value of Every Sperm is Sacred is just absolutely ridiculous. we used to have a Phillips CDI machine. We used to have like a karaoke of Monty Python songs.
Oh God!
And it was mostly the meaning of life.
It was quite a few games actually. I thought there was only one, but there's quite a few.
I know there's a Spectrum game in the 80s.
Oh, wow. My dad told me that he's still got our Spectrum in the attic.
Really?
Yeah. Proper ZX Spectrum.
Nice.
Get that thing booted up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Monty Python's complete waste of time.
Yeah, that's it.
A relic from the days when developers realised he could in fact dream of just digitising a load of clips and stringing them together in vaguely interactive form. Complete waste of time is another of those dreaded multimedia experience things, though at least one that tried not to suck. It's broken into multiple rooms, all excuses to rehash some old footage in low-res ways, sometimes in the form of games like a one-armed bandit that uses screen caps of various sketches instead of cherries and bar symbols, or trying to fly a head that turns into a chicken across a field of spikes and into a gaping maw. You can also Pythonize your desktop by inflicting all manner of rubbish screensavers and wallpaper backgrounds on it and take advantage of the included sound samples to make your non-computer savvy friends' lives a living hell every time Windows boots up.
I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember because it was actually my so it was my mum's godchildren. Oh no, it was my godmother's children. They live in Scotland, and we used to go and visit them like once every few weekends. And it was back when we didn't have a PC. We didn't have a PC, but they did, and I'd be like obsessed with the simplest of games and the simplest and the fact that Monty Python's on it was fucking mental. And I remember thinking we fucked the computer, but it was that desktop thing. we came out of the game and you just looked at your desktop and it was like, oh God, what's happened?
I had a Wallace and Gromit thing like that. Wallace and Gromit's companion CD or something, and you'd literally load it and it just went Wallace and Gromit all over your computer everywhere. It's like the start up noise and the close down noise. It was all cracking cheese Gromit, and then the computer would turn up. I think I've still got the CD in the loft somewhere.
Amazing. Yeah, please find it.
I'll do you a copy.
Give us a report.
Lloyds number 3.
Number 3. It is. If Monty Python is hilarious and light-hearted and loads of fun to watch, This film is the complete opposite. It's something of a punishing watch. Very disorienting at times. I think I can say it's a war film, and there's been about 3 million different cuts of it released over the years.
Right. Okay.
Is that giving it away for you?
Yeah.
Bugger.
Not for me, it hasn't.
Okay. Yeah, you've seen it.
3 million different cuts of it. Is it a Steven Spielberg film?
No.
Is it a so it's a war film? Is it Vietnam War?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Is it a Coppola film?
Yes.
Right. I'm there.
Did he do many of them?
Charlie, don't surf.
Saigon. Why is it always Saigon? Yeah. I'd heard so much about it.
Yeah.
And then finally got around to watching it. And at the end, I was just like, what the fuck was that? It's just absolutely maddening. The bit that really kind of like sunk it for me was the where they go to like is it like a little island or something that where
Brando is.
It's like say again. No, not where Brando is. They're kind of on the way to that. But it's like it's nighttime, and the only way that like things are lit is like every so often a flare will go up. It's like the little island where there's like a unit have been stuck there for however long, and they've all gone a bit mad, and they're on the way to this for this like seemingly unending quest for Kurtz, and yeah, it was just baffling, but it conveyed the feeling of the scene very, very well, and I was like, oh, I get that. The people in this film are meant to be confused. Yeah. I am confused.
Yeah, fucking mental.
Yeah,
it was an absolute bitch to film as well, I believe, and people died making that film.
Yeah, there's have I watched the documentary? Heart of Darkness. Is Sofia Coppola made while they were filming it? Was it his daughter made it?
I think so. Yeah, because I think I'm just looking there. Heart of Darkness is what the original book that it was based on was called.
Joseph Conrad. I think that was set 100 years before or something like that. Some like Indo-Chinese war type thing. But yeah, I mean, we love a good war film, and that was one that I think it did a really good job of not painting war in a very good light.
Yeah.
It didn't glorify it much, did it?
Not much at all, to be honest.
It's not like, there's a lot of films out there that do, a lot of war films that do sort of make it out to be like more of an American hero film than a genuine war film. But Apocalypse Now was pretty disturbing.
Yeah.
Even war films that do lean more towards being disturbing are still nowhere near as mental as Apocalypse Now. So the Vietnam ones do tend to be more like that. The Vietnam ones do tend to be a bit that like Platoon was quite that, but it was still nowhere near as crazy as Apocalypse Now. Apocalypse Now was like deeply psychological, like the trauma that this platoon were going through, and
just like every group of people that they come across just seems to be just a little bit more fucked than the last. Yeah. And you just think, how far does this go? And it ends up in a weird tribe temple thing with a very bald, sweaty, overweight Marlon Brando
who demanded silly monies.
Silly monies.
He was just fucking. I mean, he actually was mental by that point, Brando.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Quite juicy though.
Yeah, it's very moist, shiny.
Cold to the touch. Even in Vietnam, he looked cut like Clint Eastwood, just a bit cold to the bit clammy, very clammy.
Isn't that the one where you said a few episodes ago, what wasn't it? Isn't he in it for something like 11 minutes or something?
Yeah, it's that.
Stupid.
Yeah.
Like tiny amounts of screen time, and he was like, yeah, you can give me 20 million for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he refused to lose weight for it or something. So like most of the actual filming of him is like in half darkness.
Yeah, you barely see him. Even when you do see him, it's like,
Yeah.
Did they need to use Brando for this? I'm pretty sure they could have used Phil Mitchell. Steve McFadden.
Yeah, I mean, I don't. Would that have the same sort of gravitas? I don't know. No. So you've answered your own question.
Obviously not. The whole point was like they've got to see Brando.
Yeah.
Even we haven't seen Brando in ages.
Yeah.
And he's just this mad fat man.
Yeah.
Great.
I remember I saw that, and then I watched Last Tango in Paris. And
I've not seen that.
Oh yeah. You won't want to buy Flora ever again. Dirty boy. I'm just looking on his. Apparently, Steve McQueen was originally going to play Willard in it, and it was also offered to Al Pacino. But yeah,
that would have been good.
They wouldn't have paid. They didn't want to pay their fees for it. And why do they keep releasing it? Because there is so many different. Isn't it about to come out again soon or something?
Oh, is it? I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Like I'd seen
now.
Yeah, I think so.
There was like the original cinematic cut, then the director's cut, and then Coppola's final cut. Which added back in the scene where they go and stay with the French family.
Right. There's only four different cuts.
All right.
There's only four.
All right.
I mean, I was exaggerating.
I'm just so there's a theatrical cut. Then there's the Apocalypse Now Redux.
I think that's the one. That's the one I saw.
I think that's the one I've seen.
Yeah.
Whatever the longest one is. That's
and then there's the first assembly, which is an assembly cuts the very first edit of a film.
Right.
And then
it'll be the Redux.
And then there's the final cut. The Redux is 2001.
Yes, I think that was.
That's the one I saw.
Re-edited Apocalypse Now, much the same way he did with Godfather 3, to put all the sequences originally cut back out into it. He titled the new cut Apocalypse Now Redux, and it was a whopping 202 minutes. That's long. That's
3.5 hours.
That's 20 minutes.
Pretty much,
20 minutes longer than Endgame.
That. And probably feels it. But yeah, apparently the final cut is about to come out. That's what's due out soon.
The final
cut. Yeah. That's the last one, guys. Honestly.
Farewell cut. Yeah, I always forget Dennis Hopper was in that film. Actually,
Harrison Ford as well.
Yeah, he gets it.
Robert Duvall.
Very small part.
Yeah. It's not really in it for a scene. It literally it, isn't it? It's just
he kind of hands over a file, explains that this guy's gone mad. Please find him. That's it.
He's easy to find. He's massive.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Marlon Brando? Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't take any butter with you.
I don't think you'll need it. Last we heard, he was moist enough. Right, Ross, stop reading about it now.
I'm just looking at loads of shots of Marlon Brando.
We'll fucking lose him for 20 minutes now. Now he's started staring at it.
Sorry.
Ross, back in the room.
All right.
Save them for later.
I'll Photoshop Marlon Brando's head onto a kangaroo. Will that make you happy?
Oh,
I'm not. That'd be one moist. As long as it's a moist Marlon Brando head.
And a moist kangaroo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A moist kangaroo head with very dry, taut kangaroo pecs.
Have you ever?
I think that might have just done it for your title there, Si.
I'll need to listen to that again to write it down properly. Have you ever eaten kangaroo? Have you eaten kangaroo?
I don't.
Yeah, you notched one off.
Heyo.
This is like semen. Next time on the Simon Ross podcast.
Sorry, what is it that you're asking the spirits? What are you wanting the spirits to? I put all the dog shit on a shovel on the table, and then I wrap it up. I wrap all the dog shit up in tin foil, and then I put it through the neighbour's letterbox. Don't go jumping to the clitoris like a bull through a gate.